Hand weaving, a heritage with a history of more than 5,000 years, is not only an industry but also the soul of Eastern culture. Here, the craftsman is using a thin bamboo stick to skillfully roll soft cotton into even threads. With their flexible hands, they roll the cotton onto the bamboo stick, round by round, layer by layer, gently but firmly. This is the first step in the process of preparing raw materials for spinning, and also where a fabric begins to be born. Once the cotton has been rolled, the craftsman moves on to spinning the yarn, a technique that requires absolute dexterity. The traditional reeling machine, simple but effective, spins steadily in rhythm with the hand, pulling the cotton into long, thin strips like spider silk. Each thread is tiny but regular and strong, which is the foundation for a perfect fabric. The threads are then rolled up and fed into a loom to be braided into neat, tidy bundles. But to achieve the natural softness and whiteness of the yarn, the craftsmen do not stop there. They take the bundles of yarn to the riverbank where the water is cool and clear to wash away impurities. Each bundle of yarn is rinsed in the water, then a wooden tool, shaped like a mallet, is used to beat the yarn evenly. Not only to clean, but also to make the yarn softer, easier to weave, and retain its natural color when dyed later. After being cleaned and rinsed in river water, the fibers need to be dried naturally. Craftsmen use small bamboo sticks, simple but effective, to squeeze out any remaining water from each bundle of fibers. The craftsman begins to grind the yellow corn kernels, a traditional ingredient with natural adhesive properties, using a manual stone mill. The slow but steady rotation turns the corn kernels into a fine, golden powder, an indispensable step in the traditional weaving profession. This powder is cooked, creating a thick, viscous mixture, like a natural glue. The craftsman takes the previously dried strips of yarn and rolls them evenly through the cooked corn, helping the yarn to adhere to the glue and become stronger when woven. After processing, the yarn is squeezed again and dried. Bamboo sticks are gently heated and wiped clean. Each carefully treated thread is passed through narrow slots, then pulled back and forth to test the tension and elasticity. Once everything is in place, the craftsman begins to wind the yarn. With steady rotations, each yarn is stretched, parallel, running along the bamboo frame like the rhythmic flow of time. This step seems simple, but it is where the craftsman's sophistication is revealed. If just one strand is loose or too tight, the entire fabric will not be able to hold its shape. The worker continues to thread each thread through small holes drilled in a bamboo stick, interwoven into a precise system like a delicate map. The worker carefully stretches each thread evenly, not too loose, not too tight. Only when all the threads are straight like the surface of autumn water will the woven fabric be beautiful and durable. This seemingly simple step is actually a life and death milestone that determines the quality of an entire piece of fabric. It is not only patience, but also an art of absolute precision. The craftsman gathers all the stretched fibers, like small streams ready to flow into a large river. Each bundle of fibers is fed into a fixed frame, where they are pulled tight, preparing them for the final finishing step. The worker uses a carding tool, which can be made of bamboo or wood, to straighten each fiber, removing knots and tangles. Then, small bamboo sticks are clamped tightly onto each roll, keeping the bundles straight and strong. Finally, with steady movements, the worker begins to roll them up. After the winding is complete, the worker collects the entire bundle of yarn, meticulously using scissors to cut off the excess, eliminating the unqualified yarns, keeping the most refined ones. Each bundle of yarn is combed one last time, straightening each small thread as if cherishing a treasure. Next, the worker ties all the white yarns together, creating a solid foundation for the next important step. After completing the yarn preparation stage, the craftsman puts the entire system into the handmade loom. This loom, a tool that has existed for thousands of years, is both simple and extremely sophisticated, where single threads of silk are combined into strong and durable fabrics. The loom is made mainly of wood, flexible yet sturdy, with parts such as the tension bar, treadle bar, and weft bar. Everything operates rhythmically with each movement of the craftsman's hands. With no need for modern machinery, just with patience, technique, and heart, the craftsman breathes life into each piece of fabric. finally, under the skillful hands of the craftsman, a complete fabric was born. It is not simply a thread woven together. It is also the result of dozens of meticulous stages, the crystallization of patience, skill, and dedication.